Hey guys, welcome to another video. Just thought of explaining you the user management in Linux basics. Okay, so basically, what happens is user management follows with three commands. Okay, so user add, user mod, and user del. Okay, for example, if there is a user called Samir, okay, Samir is one user in Linux, and we have to make sure that Samir is mapped to one group at least. So we call that we have to, we need to have that group as a primary group. Okay, that is the rule. So let me get into practical. Before that, so group okay, let me tell you where you can explore, where you can see how many number of users, what are the groups, all those things. So there is a file called, this is a file name, okay, path etc slash groups. Okay, so if I type cat etc groups, sorry, cat etc group, okay, it's not groups, it's group. So whatever you're seeing here, that is whatever you're seeing here, so the first column, okay, so whatever you're seeing, post drop, slocate, okay, and ec to instance connect, nobody, users, all those things are group name. And what are these things? 1000, 158, 156, 29, all these are group ID, a unique ID. Okay, you can't create another group with the same 74 because 74 is already available. Okay, so this is how you can check. And there is another location, cat etc passwd. What is passwd? So this is the file where you will see how many number of users, the number of users, and all the properties of that user. For example, okay, here we go. So the first one, ec to hyphen user, that is a user name, and the second one is after colon, there is another x is nothing but password encrypted, okay, for this user. Okay, and this is user id, and this is group id, and this is the comment. Okay, who is this user? Okay, ec to default user, and this is the home path of the user, and this is the shell path of the user, the default shell. Okay, now when I'm saying home path is nothing but, say for example, as soon as I log in, so this is my user ID, okay, because ec to hyphen user, I have logged in. As soon as I log in, wherever I go, see cd slash and cd tmp, okay, my present working directory, but if I type cd enter, automatically I'm coming into my home directory. So this is where home hyphen user slash user, this is where we have typed it here. If you type if you give something else, as soon as I type cd, then something else will come up. Okay, so this is the file list of user IDs, and their details are listed here. Okay, now our task, I'll just tell you what is our task, what are we going to do here. So first thing is, I'm gonna create a group, create a new group, okay, and then create a new ID, new user, and map that user to the newly created group. Okay, then modify the user, then delete the user, then delete the group. So we're going to do all these things. Now let's create a new group. For that, there is something called groupadd. Okay, and if you're not sure what is the options, okay, let me get into sudo groupadd -h. So you will get a lot of options here, and now I'm going to create a groupadd -g, and then I'm mentioning some any ID which is not occupied. Okay, how will you say which is not occupied? Go to cat etc group, so you can see all these IDs. So for example, I'm going 240. Okay, so if 240 is there or not, grep 240 etc group. So 240 is not there. Okay, but if I want to create a 158, then it will give an error. But for that I can check 158 grep etc group. See, 158 is there, so I can't create it with the same 158 ID. So I can go with the 240 ID. So what I will do, group add -g 240. I'm creating a group name called DBA group. That is a group name. Enter. Okay. So sudo. I have to add sudo. So now DBA group is created. How can you check it? Cat etc group. See, DBA is created with the group ID which I gave 240. Perfect. Now first task is completed. This is done. So what is the next task? Create a new user and map the user to the newly created group. Okay. Now how can I do that? Useradd. Okay, and then -u and the user ID. Okay, just like we created a group ID, so we need to find the user ID. So for that, what I'll do is cat etc passwd. So user ID is which column? The third column. Okay, after one, this is the first, then second, and then this is the user ID. These are all the user IDs. Okay, and I'm going to give some user ID. For that I'll just check whether 110 is there or not. Okay, 110 is here in this file or not. Okay, it's not there. It means that I can use it. So useradd -u, then 110 -g, which group I'm mapping this user to. I'm going to map it to DBA group, which I created now. And then -c is for comments. So I'm going to take the DB server, something like that. This is a comment for this particular user, or DB service ID, something like that. Okay, and after that I want to assign a default home directory for this user. So -d /home/oracle, something like that. Next, -s, which default shell you're using. So I'm using bin ksh. Ksh is one form of shell, just like bash we are using. Ksh is another shell. So I'm assigning a default shell. So next one is -m. -m, what it does is it will make sure that it creates a home directory. So I will make sure that this Oracle name is there, right? This one, ORACLE. So I'll just copy and then I'll paste it here, Oracle. That's it. Then now if you hit enter, you'll get an error because permission denied. I'm going to add sudo space. So now it might have created. Let's see whether it's created or not. So how will you verify it's created? Cat etc and then passwd. See, Oracle ID is created. So if you want to verify whether it is Oracle ID is created, it's an easy way. Grep Oracle, okay, and then mention the file name. See, Oracle ID is there. Whatever we have done right now with this command, I'm just going up arrow. See, with this command, useradd -u, 110 is my user ID, 110 is my user ID, and then -g is for group. Which group? DBA group. I need to map it to the DBA group. Okay, and then -c, the DB service ID, and then -d, home Oracle, and then -bin ksh. It's coming up, bin ksh. That's it. So this is what. So we have mapped this with this, and then next one is if you want to set up password for this Oracle. So sudo passwd, mention this Oracle user ID. So ORACLE. Now it's ask you for the new password. So just give some password, which should be minimum of 8 characters. Okay. So I'm just giving something. Okay. So I've updated the password for that. Okay. Now the next thing is what we can do is. So next thing is, let's modify. So in our example right now, the last one Oracle is using bin ksh. So if you want to modify the ksh to bash, how can you do it? So for that, usermod. Okay, usermod -s, then bin bash to which ID? Okay, now sudo ls minus cat etc psswd. Now if you see, it is changed. So what is the command I've used? Again, I'll just tell you sudo, which I've used right now, and then you have to type usermod modification -s is for which shell, then bin bash, then which id, that's it, which for which user id. Okay, so once this is done, that's it. See, it's all changed now. Okay, so we are done almost. Now I'm going to delete the user which I created. How can I do it? Cat etc psswd. So this is a username Oracle, so I'm going to delete it. Userdel Oracle. Okay, sudo userdel Oracle. Now cat etc wd. Okay, that is deleted. We don't have it anymore after this. Okay, now you're going to delete the group as well. So let me see what are the groups you have. So dba group is there. How can you delete it? Groupdel dba. Okay, sudo groupdel dba, then cat etc group. Okay, so that is also gone. So just simple as it is. Thank you.